Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I was going to make something on how I keep my modular buildings on the cheap. Now, I make both custom modular buildings and I also brick build Lego official modular buildings that are retired. Now, there are a number of ways to keep your costs down. This video is not going to be like, you spend 20 bucks and you have a modular building. You're still going to have to pay some money, but it's going to cut the cost quite a bit if you're willing to do some of the stuff that I do. So, like most people, I'm not a Lego ambassador. I don't make money off this channel yet, hopefully soon. All the stuff that I buy in the Lego City, it comes out of my paycheck. So I try to keep the costs down, and I kind of have to because, I got bills to pay, got a wedding to pay for, I want a house. So I gotta keep those costs down. So there's a number of different ways that you can do it. In this video, there will be a couple that are kind of like duh, obviously, and others maybe you haven't heard of yet. There's a number of different ways. So I'm going to go into the Lego City. I'll show you a few ways on the modular buildings themselves that I keep the costs down, and hopefully you guys enjoy. Okay, so here we are in the Lego City. The green girl shirt is going to be my example, and the number one thing that I do to keep costs down when making these modular buildings is substitute parts. If you don't have a problem with not having 100% original parts, by all means substitute them. It will save you a ton of money. It probably saved me around $300 to $400 not using original parts from the green girl shirt. So I'm going to zoom in to these sand green 1x2 masonry bricks. Originally, when this set came out in 2009, it had 1x2 bricks with a groove in the center, also in sand green. Now, those parts are not made in sand green anymore, and they cost around $5 to $7 a piece, and that's per piece. So you're going to be spending over $250 just on some bricks alone, because I think there's about 50 of them in the set. I can't justify spending that much. I just think that's ridiculous. Another thing that I did was substitute the decorated 1x4 brown tiles with just plain tiles, and it looks just the same. And one other thing I substituted was the hair piece on this minifig. I just gave her a modern hair piece instead of the $30 one. I'm not paying $30 for a hair piece. I just can't justify it. I did a couple of substitutions on the cafe corner as well. These are 2x2x3 sloped bricks. They are supposed to be 1x2x3 sloped bricks. I just substituted those because they're a little bit more expensive in the dark red, and frankly it looks just as good to me. So substitution is going to be one of your biggest money savers when making these Lego modular buildings, especially the official ones. So next I'm going to go over to the brick bank here. So in Lego sets, if you've been collecting, Lego makes printed pieces. Now, the printed pieces in particular in the brick bank are astronomically expensive now because they were only made for the brick bank. They only appear in that set. And for all 5 of the printed glass pieces, it costs around $75 if I remember correctly. So what I did, instead of paying $75 for those pieces, I just bought stickers. The stickers cost $15 with tax and shipping, and it looks just as good. Like, I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I'll give you a little view here. You can see all the crooks robbing the bank. And I'll give you another view here. If you ask me, it looks just as good, and if somebody came in and looked at it, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference unless I said something to you. So that's a really good way to save some money, is just use stickers instead of printed parts. Next up, we've got my custom fire station right here. So these apply more for custom modular buildings, not official Lego modular buildings. And if you look inside, there's nothing in there. I'm not playing with these like a kid would, and I really have no desire to, so I just don't decorate the interiors. And it saves about $20 to $50 depending on how big the set is if I don't decorate the interior. Now, there's some sets that I just have to decorate the interior. I'll go around to the back, one of them being the custom hamburger restaurant and the custom cafe, and you'll see in a minute. If I were to leave those completely undecorated, it would just look really weird because there's so many windows, and when you see nothing inside, I don't think it would look right. So I had to decorate those. Now, my pumpkin factory here and the building next to it, there's nothing in those buildings. So that's just ways that I try to cut costs, is just not decorating the interiors of modulars. And one last little point I will make, if you're building like the substructure, like for example, you can see the dark or the light gray masonry bricks there. That's the substructure for the fire station. If you're building a substructure and you're not going to see like the parts under there, use like random colors that you have laying around, because nobody's going to see in there. I use it all the time, especially for this high rise support. It's a rainbow under there of random colored parts. So don't be afraid to substitute different colored parts if you're not going to be able to see it, if it's not going to be an eyesore. Okay, so those were a few of the ways that I keep my costs down. One of them being substituting parts. That's probably the biggest one. That's going to save you a ton of money if you're okay with substituting those parts. Using stickers instead of printed pieces. That's going to be so much cheaper, especially just because those parts aren't made anymore. They're going to skyrocket in value, and that's in any market. And lastly, not decorating custom modulars. If you're okay with that, if you don't play with them, you know, like a kid, don't decorate it. Like I don't. I just don't really see the need to, you know? So those are the methods that I use that are maybe a little bit more unnoticed, I guess. So some other ways to cut costs. Now, I'm going to go into more towards the people who want the actual modular building. And I get it. They want the real deal. They want 100% complete because they want to put it in their collection, because these are collector's items. Lego collecting is it's a big hobby now, especially in the last several years. I've noticed it's become a really big hobby, and I was one of the people who fell victim to it, and now I spend a ton of money on it. So I'm going to say Marketplace. That is one of your biggest friends. I've gotten so many modulars in here off of Marketplace on the cheap end. My fiance too, she's gotten a lot off of Marketplace. Minifigs. Marketplace is a great thing. You can find them below market value. A lot of the people on there too, they just want to get rid of it, because sometimes I've gotten multiple times from people who are moving who just want to sell their collection. So A, they don't have to move it, and B, they can have money for other things. Yeah, Marketplace is a great thing. It's great for buying Lego, and if you don't mind it being used too. So that's Marketplace. eBay, that's another good one. I feel like eBay is not used as much as it was in the last probably 10 to 15 years, but eBay's still a good one. I still buy from them occasionally, not as often as I did when I first started collecting. And lastly is Bricklink, especially for old used modulars. Bricklink is great. If you type in the set number, it gives you a whole list of people that have it. And the further down you go on the list, the more expensive it gets. Maybe a suggestion that I have is, if you're okay with getting an incomplete version, look at what parts are missing from that set. Maybe you can substitute it from your own inventory, or just pick up a few parts off of the Pick-a-Brick website, or Pick-a-Brick while at the Lego store, whatever you see fit. That's a good method to keep costs down. Something to beware of on Bricklink is there are some sellers that are just straight up ripping you off. There's one store in particular, I won't name them. I will say that they're out of Ohio. They charge like 5 times what the actual thing costs. So like, for example, like a 1x2 brick that costs 7 cents on the Pick-a-Brick website, they will charge like 35 to 50 cents. Like, regardless of what color it is, they're all like 35 to 50 cents, and people keep buying from them. And I cannot fathom, like, why would you spend that much? Like, I don't get that. They're ripping you off. So beware of that when you're on Bricklink. Another thing, especially if you're making custom modular buildings, not the official Lego modulars, custom modular buildings, download Bricklink Studio. Bricklink Studio is a free-to-use app. You download it on a PC or a laptop. You can design whatever you want in Lego. And all of your Bricklink designer program and Lego ideas submissions, almost all of them come from Bricklink Studio as well. So you can build whatever you want, have any brick that's ever been made in whatever color you want. It's amazing. It has a collision tool, so if you have 2 bricks that wouldn't line up in real life, or they would actually collide in real life, it has that tool to tell you that. It also has like a stability, a connectivity, so like if you build something kind of big, or like a long pole, it'll tell you like this might not hang on in real life. So it's really cool. I learned something new, like a new feature of that, at least probably like once a month. So it's a really cool thing, and it's kind of a the aftermath of Lego Digital Designer. Lego Digital Designer was the original one, and I used that as a kid. And Bricklink Studio is just far better than that. It is so much better. I really, really strongly recommend that you use it, mainly just for the parts list, because when I first started collecting Lego, I ordered my first pick-a-brick order, and I didn't have that studio feature yet. I ordered so many parts that I didn't need. Whereas now I build it in Studio, I pull down the parts list, I can see which parts I do have, so I don't order them, which parts I don't have, so I do order them, and everybody's happy. And now it saves me so much money by using that feature, because I can just go through the inventory that I have in the tubs back here and I'm all set. So those are ways that I try to cut costs, and I'm sure there's other ways that I might not have mentioned. By all means, feel free to drop a comment. That wraps up today's video. I hope you found it informative. Hopefully you used some of the tips that I gave you. As always, folks, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.